Good morning, everyone. Today's video is about expanding logarithm. Now, in order for us to understand how to expand logarithm, we need to understand three basic properties of logarithm. We call them the product rule, the quotient rule, and the power rule. So the product rule states that if we have a logarithm xy based a, that equals to log x base a plus log y based a. Now for the quotient rule, if we have a logarithm x over y, or that's x divided by y based a, that equals to log the x base a minus log the y base a. Now for the power rule, if we have a logarithm x raised to r based a, that equals to r, which is the exponent of your x, times logarithm x base a. Now in some cases, or in most cases rather, we will be using one, maybe two or three properties at the same time. All right, let's go to the first example. Here we need to expand the given logarithm. Now we need to understand first here that the term 5x squared, the operation between 5 and x squared is multiplication. That's we need to understand that. So what operation is involved? Is it multiplication or division? Because as you can see here in the properties of logarithm, we have the product and the quotient rule. So for the product rule, we will use that one, and of course for the quotient rule, we will use the second one. And of course, another thing that is obvious is the exponent. So if we had an exponent, like in this case, we have x squared, then obviously we will be using the product rule. So I mentioned earlier that the first thing we need to understand here is what operation is involved. We can actually rewrite this as logarithm 5 times x squared, right? So now we can clearly see we can expand that log 5 and then log the x squared. Using the product rule, we can have this, or we can expand this as log 5 plus log x squared. Now, if we look at the second term, the log x squared, we can still expand that using the power rule. So our final answer here is logarithm 5 to, we will move this exponent to here. So that's 2 times log x. And that will be the expanded form of the given logarithm. Right, let's go to the next one. Now, this is obvious. What we have here is division. So definitely we will use the quotient rule. And then we see exponents. So that means we will use the product rule. So quotient and product. Let's use the quotient first. That means we can express this as logarithm x raised to 5 minus logarithm y raised to 3. And now we will use the product rule, meaning we will move this exponent 5 here and this 3 there on the left side of that logarithm. So this is equal to 5 logarithm x minus 3 logarithm y, and that will be the final answer. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so here we have division, which is obvious. We also have product multiplication, and that's the denominator. If you can see z raised to 5x, that's multiplication there. And then of course we have the exponent 5, which means we will use the product rule. So we will use the quotient, the product, and the power rule at the same time. Now let's use the product rule first. I mean the exponent rather. Sorry, the quotient rule. So logarithm y minus logarithm z raised to 5x, right? And then we can expand this portion of the expression because that's we can apply the product rule here. So logarithm base y, logarithm y minus logarithm z raised to 5 plus logarithm x. Okay, and then that exponent 5 of z, we can simplify that or expand that rather using the product rule. So logarithm y minus 5 logarithm z plus logarithm x. Now, of course, we do not want to have a parenthesis, so that means we can distribute that negative to both 5 log z and log x. So our final answer here is log y minus 5 log z minus log x. All right, let's go to the next one. Now here we have logarithm x raised to 4 and square root of y raised to 3 and then over z raised to 5. Now it's obvious here we will be using those three: the product, the quotient, and then the power rule. Let's use the quotient rule first. So which means logarithm x raised to 4. Here, what I will do with that square root of y raised to 3, I will express that into exponential form. Now, in order for us to do that, we need to understand, or we need to know the index of the radicals here. Now, we don't see any number. By default, if you don't see any index, that means the index is 2. Right? So meaning we can express this as y raised to 3 over 2. Okay? So that's our numerator minus logarithm z raised to 5. Okay? And then after that, we will apply the product rule for this one. Okay? So that's logarithm x raised to 4 plus logarithm y raised to 3 over 2 minus logarithm z raised to 5. And finally, we will apply the power rule, which means this is equal to 4 logarithm x plus 3 over 2 logarithm y minus 5 logarithm z. And of course, that is our final answer. All right, so that's it. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and share this to your friends. If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.